Hello, my Teaser King family. How is everybody today? I am well. I hope I don't lose the stupid internet. I freeze and then it goes, and I don't know if I'm still here or not, so I have to end it and come back. So I apologize for that, but it's out of my control. Anyway, um, Comex is closed today for Easter, which okay, it ended at 33.15. So when we were talking, yesterday, the normal 10 o'clock went down to actually 32.90 or something like that, right at that 10 o'clock drop. And then by the time we were done, it was already back to 33.13 and ended at 33.15 at 5 o'clock. Um, so, with that said, it looks like the stock market's closed. I've seen it at 39,142 for an hour now. Yeah, I don't know about the Good Friday holiday. Now, we'll look at baseball in a minute. So, Mark McGuire, I will go through that. A lot of very big news on the gold back renminbi China and the gold back ruble Russia. They are stable coins, I guess, and it's all digital, but the coins are real. So it's not like this bullshit of Bitcoin where you can't tell me what it looks like because nobody's ever seen one before. What a scam that is. It's a beautiful scam. Well, what's it look like? I don't know. What's it feel like? I don't know. And you're paying $80,000 for a year. Okay, well, you know, there's an ocean here in Detroit. I'd love to sell you. What a bunch of idiots with Bitcoin, huh? But that's what I fear about with the digital gold-backed currency. Although they will use stable coins, which will be gold-backed. So you'll have a coin, right? This is a stable coin. It's gold-backed. I have it. It's in my hand. I can see it. That's what's missing with Bitcoin. So the U.S. can be the crypto capital of the world, but everybody else is going to a gold-backed stable coin. So it's already rolled out with China. They're already using it with a lot of countries. Russia's got one that's either out or coming out. They're avoiding SWIFT now. And the way SWIFT worked, there was like 5 or 6 banks that would take a little piece of the action. And with what they're doing in China and Russia and Brics, they're just stable coin. It's the blockchain, so it avoids all the banks. And instead of taking 5 days to do your SWIFT transaction, it takes 7 minutes apparently. So you basically just killed the dollar. Who the fuck wants the dollar? I want a gold-backed currency that's not going to lose its value versus the dollar. The dollar's gone. As I put in the title, gold is not a want anymore. Gold's a need. All right, that's an Iserman, Lemieux. These are wants. These are I want to have this card to add to my collection. I collect them. A want, not gold. Gold is no longer a want. Gold is a need. You must have it. Not maybe. Not I'll get around to it. I'll wait for the price to drop. No. If you want to be successful and have a life in a year, when the dollar collapses and our economy collapses, we're already in a recession, pretty close to a depression. If you want these things, you need to buy gold, and you need to buy it now before it's headed. Mark McGuire, we'll watch Mark McGuire today, 4,500 gold, and I think that's conservative. Just based on the demand's huge. China, now their insurance companies have to buy gold. China's just going crazy with it. I mean, these people. I was at Caesar's Palace many years ago, and I met some Asians, and they are emotionally like 2-year-olds. I was watching the BYU Penn State game, and I had bet BYU as a live dog, and they did too. I don't know if they teased it. And BYU would get a first down, and they'd get all crazy, and I'd go, guys, it's the first down. Relax. It's the first quarter. They're very emotional people, so they're just buying gold and just emotionally into gold. I mean, that's all it is. They can't, think about 3-year-olds crying for my diaper or whatever. So that's what you have here. Very emotional. I don't know, probably all Asians are the same. They're very emotional, insecure type of people. And so you have them with gold and they can't get enough. And when Pat comes on, he can confirm what's going on in Singapore and Hong Kong and all that. It's very, very emotional. Now, we get excited when we win a football game. After the game's over, we go, yeah, I had Philadelphia. They got over. As soon as the game goes over and Philly is a live dog, and as soon as it's fourth quarter and they got over and they're up by 20, then we let out a cheer. But it's control. We've been there. We've done that. I play poker. I don't get all excited if I get pocket aces and I win the hand. I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, I got pocket aces. Yeah, I won. Okay, next. It's all part of the plan, and it's just that's the way you play. So now I guess there's 20 nations on this Brics, Chinese renminbi. That's their name of their dollar. That's stable coined backed by gold. And they're already using it, and they've already done like $1 trillion in transactions, not using SWIFT. And Russia's rolling theirs out. They've had theirs ready to go. I guess they're rolling it out also. So as far as I know, it's go. It's stablecoin. It's blockchain. And blockchain just means it's a ledger, sort of like what Visa is. Visa, you go to the grocery store, you hit it, you go on your account, there it is. You spent $50 at Kroger's. That's blockchain. And so call it what it is. It's just a ledger. It just shows your transaction. Well, big deal. We know that. We get that every day now. So that's what you're at. So here it comes. Now, do you want to trade in gold or do you want to trade in monopoly money? I'd probably rather prefer gold than monopoly money. Do I want a bunch of monopoly money in my bank? No. Do I want my stocks in monopoly money? Probably not. So this is the whole trigger of what's going on. So we will listen to Mark in a minute. I went through eBay quickly yesterday and I found some counterfeit I want to warn you about. But here's the pretty much average price of gold. A tenth of an ounce, about 385. You can buy it on Bitcoin, on eBay for. A quarter ounce, roughly 945, 950. A half of an ounce, about 18 and a quarter. And an ounce is going for about 35.25. I can get it. The spot is 33.15, so I could get it at my store for 34.25. It's unbelievable because I have my receipts and I look a couple of years back and I'm buying for 1,800, 1,900. I remember my first, I think I took $80,000 and I bought like 20,000 and I got like 7 ounces of gold and it was like 1,700 and I was like, I was like freaked out then, like, geez, I gave the guy 20 grand and I got 7 ounces. Maybe it was 10 or 15 grand, but I remember getting like 7, 8 ounces. I think it was 10 grand and I got 5 ounces for 10 grand. And I'm going, Jesus, now good luck. Now you can't even get 3. 3 would put you just over 10 grand. So that's where we're at with it. So I keep inventory. I got so many quarter ounces, half ounces, ounces, tenth of an ounce. That's what I have. So I price them. So I go into my little spreadsheet and I got my tenth of an ounces and I got, 25, for example, and I put a price down. I go price times quantity equals X. And then I do the same for the quarters, the halves, and the ounces. And I then keep scoring. I go, okay, this is what I have. Since January 15th, gold was at, I believe, 28.60. It's gone up about $500. It was like 28 or 26.8. No, it was like 28.60 or something. And it's now 33.50. It's now gone up almost $500. And if you multiply it, let's say you have, I'll keep it simple, 100 ounces. I don't have quite 100, but let's say you had 100 ounces times the $500 that it went up. Let's say it went up 500 since January 15th. We are at April 18th. In 3 months, it has gone up $500. If you had 100 ounces, you made $50,000 in 3 months. But the difference is it's real. It's not bullshit stock. It's not invisible Bitcoin. It's not the money in your bank, which you can never make that kind of money. So you put the money in the bank or you put the money in gold and gold kills you. Gold, you're a superstar in gold. You've now made $50,000. Now, silver, you haven't made anything yet. Well, you're going to. But we're focusing on gold right now. As I said, don't get out of gold. Keep it in gold. I did have the thought yesterday that maybe you take an ounce to the coin store. Say, okay, because it's 100 to 1, I want 100 ounces of silver for my ounce of gold, with the thought, once silver starts moving and then it becomes moving like gold, where they stop doing derivatives on it, which should happen soon. Once that happens, then you'll take your 100 ounces of silver and you'll get 4 or 5 ounces of gold for it. So 1 ounce of gold buys you 100 ounces. 100 ounces in a few months buys you 4 or 5 ounces of gold at a much higher price. So it's just food for thought if you want to do that. I'm deciding. I'm not sure, but it's a no-brainer. It's a lock. They're holding silver down, and gold's going through the roof. Well, gold's going to keep going through the roof. And the question is, silver, when does it start to play? We know it will. It's just, so don't be frustrated. So don't be frustrated with silver. It's going to start moving. All right. With that, so that's what I saw on eBay, which is, and again, I'm going to show you, while we're talking eBay, I'm going to show you a counterfeit that I want you to be careful with. So I put these ones I star in my watch list. Let's see. All right. I was looking at what's my Buffalo 1 ounce silver. Mostly it's 40, 41, 42. Look at this, 1999. New 2024. Well, first of all, we're in 2025. Bison gold 1 ounce. This is a fake. It looks fake. It's 1999. Let's look at the seller. Page Toys Industries, 45 likes. Let's see where he's from. See, look at it. It doesn't even look silver. It looks shiny. Um, this is not real. Um, Notice the other thing. It doesn't say 1 ounce fine silver. Where does it say 1 ounce fine silver on it? So I don't know what he's selling here. How does he not say 1 ounce fine silver? New 2024 American Bison coin, 1 ounce, 999 fine silver bullion, hot selling. This is a fake because it doesn't even say 1 ounce, and I'll try to get to another bison. 1999. The rest are going for $41. Why are you selling a 1 ounce silver that would sell in 5 minutes at $40 or $39 if you want for 1999? It doesn't say 1 ounce fine silver on it. All mine say that. So let's go to Buffalo. 1 ounce silver Buffalo coin. One ounce, 999 fine silver, right there. That's what it looks like. Looks a little different. This is going for $37.99. Chase Coins Reserve, 419, 100% feedback. But notice the key thing. What does it say? 1 ounce, 999 fine silver. If it doesn't say that, you don't buy it. So what do we got? The other guy at 19. Here's another one for $25.99. This at least says 1 ounce fine silver. 42. Now here's one for 21 from Pakistan. This one actually does say 1 troy ounce, 999 fine silver. This is from Pakistan. I don't know why he's selling it for $21.99. My guess is that these people have been crushed on the inflation, and they probably are doing the math of converting Pakistan and China or Hong Kong to the US dollar, and maybe that's why they're cheaper. Although, like here, this is Pakistan. What the fuck is he doing? He could get $36.95. Here's a real one, $36.95. Why are you $21.99? Who in their right mind sells it $15? Go on eBay, check it out. You're obviously on eBay, you're posting it. So it really scares me when I see this, especially Pakistan, China, these communist countries. Beware. Do not buy if it looks too good, especially in silver and gold. Do not buy it. Pay the $36, $37. Pay the 42, whatever. Make sure you're getting the real silver. It's going to go to 1,000. Last thing you want is to pull it out thinking it's real and oh wait, I bought it cheap. Yeah. That's why I go to my guy's store, and that's where I go. And I know he checks everything, and I see him. A guy brings it in. He's checking it. I brought in my ex-wedding ring and my bracelet, and he checks it out. Yep, that's good. So he's checking everything that comes in the door. I'm not worried he's selling fake. I've been there for 5 years now, right? I would guarantee his gold is real. I put the magnet to it, nothing. Okay. So, I could go take in 2 ounces of gold and say, check it. And I'm sure it would be fine because I bought it from him. But I pretend I didn't. Um, so don't be fooled. Gold and silver is not a course that you buy cheap. You try to get a good price. Like if I went in and he has the Krugerrands $50 cheaper than the Eagles, so I see that, and that's how I try to save money on it is by buying a Cougar instead of an Eagle. But I'm not looking for a deal. I'm looking at I know it's spot in 110, and maybe when the spot drops $50, I'll go in and buy it. But I'm buying off a spot, but I know him. So I'm not like the guy in the corner, hey, I got an ounce of gold for you. Yeah, don't know it's real. You cannot buy gold and silver from the guy in the corner. Can't be done unless you at least have to have a magnet. At least, and then you got to look him in the eyes, and then you got to. Does it say 999? Does it look gold? Does it feel like there's an ounce there? Otherwise, just run and run fast. Just far safer. You're building inventory now to buy the gold at the gold store. All right. So I just wanted to show you fake one, 21.59, real one, 36.95. Oh, it's from China. Oh, I'm sure it's real gold coming from China. And then this is a real one, a Buffalo 36.95. So you're in the ballpark there. Because again, the spot is only 32, I believe, 32 something. So keep that in mind. Don't get scammed by a cheap price. Oh, I'm going to buy this. It's $21. Wait, it's from China. Yeah, they're the biggest scammers in the world next to the Russians. Here's 36.95. Yeah, that's probably real. It's probably from the US. And then you check his rating. So let's look at the guy's ratings, 36.95. Yeah, he's got 3,600 feedback, 100% positive. And let's check the China guy. Oh, he's got zero feedback. Yeah, I'm sure he's real. Oh my God. New seal. Look, what a crack this is. Never buy from a zero. And then never pay 21.59. This I guarantee you, I would bet you 2 ounces of gold to nothing that this is counterfeit. A zero with 21.59. She's just trying to get money, but she doesn't understand silver and gold. You got to sell at market because then why would you sell it cheaper? Especially a zero out of China. Yeah, you're not going to see. If you do get the coin, it will not be silver. All right. The professor's lessons. All right, let's go into baseball yesterday. And we start off with Arizona over Miami. We got Arizona over 8. We got a winner. We got Pittsburgh over Washington. Pitt wins 1-0. We've got Cincinnati. They lose to Seattle 11-7. Seattle's got 6 guys that don't hit 200. I don't know what to think. I mean, I know it's early in the year, and I know if they get 3 hits, they're hitting 300. But Jesus, they score 11 runs on Cincinnati. Wow. So I lose that. I got Oakland. Oakland wins 8-0. That was a good pick. The 49ers over 8 against the Eagles. That wins. They scored 6-4. Philly wins. That's why I played the over. I'm not sure who's going to win, but I know there'll be a lot of runs or no runs. In this case, a lot of runs. They get 10. We're over 8. I got Baltimore over 8's a push. They win 6-2 over Cleveland. Detroit over 8 scores 7. They win 6-1. I thought Reese Olson would give up more than one run with this 5 ERA, and the Tigers seem to play. I'm figuring out the Tigers are a little bit better at home. They seem a little more comfortable. They hit a little bit better at home than they do on the road. So here's 6-1 against Kansas City. Uh, Tampa Bay, I got 9. It's 6-3. Yankees win. It's a 9. Ty Bradley, I thought would win, but he didn't. Well, he's got a 5.24 ERA, so that's why I didn't bet him. I have the Cardinals. The Mets win 4-1. Go figure this one out. And then we've got Texas over 9.5 loses. They beat California 5-3. Both pitchers had a 6 ERA. So again, you're just going off of that, and it's too early for that. It's not working. I can't look at batting averages. I got guys hitting 0.95, getting 3 hits and 2 home runs. I got guys hitting 320. I think St. Louis has 6 guys hitting over 275, and they lost yesterday like 4-1 or something. I bet them over. No, they're not going to get me over. All right, 418. I did get my unemployment yesterday. I had to go to the job thing after my haircut. Oh, fuck off with the spam. So now I can go back and buy some gold and silver. I'll get it Monday. I'll call. Should get the direct deposit Tuesday. And it just helps pay some credit cards. Credit cards are just mostly gold and the vacations. I mean, that's the credit cards. Oh, yeah, and the hotel, when I came back from Alabama, I had to stay at the Marriott for a month. That's a nightmare. Jeez, $100, that's $3,000. Oh, my God. How'd you get your credit cards up? Yeah, well, that's how. All right, 418. So Arizona at the Cubbies. Arizona's a 115, 11.5. Well, they did go over 8.5. I think they're one of the teams. I think both these teams can hit. Corbin Burns, 0-1 with a 5.28 against Colin Ray. 0-0 with a 1 ERA. Let's see if Colin Ray's a reliever or not. And it looks like he is a bunch of 3 inning, 2 innings. So he'll go 3 innings. This guy, Arizona, Corbin Burns. Again, he was good at Baltimore, but now he's at Arizona. Now he's pitching in the desert. It's a whole different ballpark. So, and now he's in the National League. So you're not going to get the same Corbin Burns. Verlander and Scherzer were the exceptions. They were great at Detroit. And then they go to the National League, and they're great there. But most pitchers struggle switching leagues. Boy, 11.5. Are you kidding me? Colin Ray will go 2-3 innings, and that's it. A lot of hitting on both sides. I can't go over 11.5. You got to be crazy. Do I take Arizona? No. I'm going to go with the Cubs. Fuck it. I'm just going to go Cubs. No bet, just Cubbies. Cleveland, Pittsburgh. Good football game. Well, not really. Interesting football game. Cleveland minus 138.5. Luis Ortiz for Cleveland, 1-2 with the 6.06. Kerman Mladzinski for Pittsburgh, 1-2 with the 6.23. I got to go over here. I got a 6.0 and a 6.2 ERA. The over-under is 8.5. Are you kidding me? So I'm going to go over. Pitt over. KC Detroit. These are games are the Cubbies are 220, and then everything else is at night. Why are they starting at 6:40? What kind of strange starting time is this? This is analytics at its worst. Well, instead of starting at 7 o'clock when everybody's home from work and the kids are home from school and everybody ate, we'll have them here at 6:40 for some reason. Fucking idiots. KC's a large favorite today, 145, 7.5. Cole Reagan's 1-0 with a 2.28 against Jackson Joby, 1-0 with a 3.00. Joby's one of these rookies from 5 years ago that has never done anything. Reagan, but based on the lack of hitting, I'm going to go under here. KC under 7.5. I mean, they struggle. Detroit, what I've noticed is they score 7 runs like almost every game. It's always like yesterday, it was 4-1. They go 6-1. We need 8. They go 6-1 or 7.5. No, Detroit over 8. They don't get to 8. They will get to 7. And it's always like if they're down in the ninth, all of a sudden they draw walks and hits batters, and they get 2-3 runs in the ninth no matter what. Because the managers take out the good starter in the 7th inning because he might get hurt. He pitches more than 100 pitches or it's 80 pitches. So I like KC under here. Jackson Joby, I have no idea. They're good in the minor leagues. Doesn't mean anything. We see that in football. Buglia. Cole Reagan's 1-0 with a 2.28. Don't know who he is. We'll find out. So with those, let's go under. Miami against the Eagles, the Dolphins Eagles. So the Eagles go from the 49ers to the Dolphins, but they're at home. Philly 210, 7.5, huge favorite. Sandy Alcantara 2-0 with the 4.70, not bad. Zach Wheeler 1-1 with the 4.07. Question is, does Miami have any hitting? Philadelphia's got it. It's a big favorite. I don't know that Zach Wheeler. I'm just going to go with these 4 ERAs. I'm going to go over. I'm going to go Phil over only because it's only 7.5, and both my pitchers are in the 4 ERAs. So mathematically, I should get 8. I know I'll get 6 or 7 with one team. What's been happening is I'll win 6-0, and I don't get over because I've calculated the 6, but the other team was supposed to get runs, didn't get runs. So we'll see how bad Miami is. The Yanks in Tampa, we got the Yanks minus 128.5. Carlos Rodon for the Yanks, 1-3 with a 5.48. Real pig. He got blasted his last game out. Drew Rasmussen, 1-0 with a 0.6. The Yankees are favored. I'm taking Tampa, and this will be our first play, 2 units. Hard to go more than really 1 unit. 1-0 with a 0.6. Let's see if he's a bullpen guy. Probably. No, he's gone 5 innings. Okay. Yeah, he only gave up one run to Texas. He shut out Atlanta and he shut out Pitt. And they only won 1 game with the guy. Why they take him out after 5 innings is just terrible management. It's not like he's tired. If the guy gave you he's tired, he'd be back. Why don't you go work at the grocery store, fella? Cincinnati, Baltimore. Baltimore 160-9. Andrew Abbott 1-0 with the 1.80. Cade Povich 0-1 with the 3.60 for Baltimore. Well, again, let's see. Andrew Abbott. Let's see if he's a bullpen guy. He's pitched 1 game, 5 innings. All right, April 12th. So he's been injured, just came back, won the game. Cade Povich 0-1 with the 3.60. Baltimore's a big favorite. I don't know why they're not going to hit this guy. I'm going under. Go Cincinnati under 9. If Andrew Abbott's 5 innings, then we'll go there. Seattle, Toronto. Seattle minus 105.8. Ric Flair's going tonight. Brian Wu, 2-0 with a 2.84 against Bowden Francis, 1-2 with the 3.71. Yeah, we got to take Rick tonight. We'll take Seattle. They're a 105 favorite. I don't know what to do with them. They can't hit, and then they score 10 runs, and you're like, what the fuck? So I'm tired of playing them under because most of their lineup doesn't hit 200, and then they still find a way to score 10 runs. I keep finding the managers are so stupid. They'll have, like the Tigers yesterday, this Carpenter guy hits like 250 or 260, and they pinch hit him with the guy who's hitting 110. I mean, because he's right-handed versus left-handed. This manager is incredibly simple. You don't take out a guy hitting 250, 275. He's a good hitter. You don't pinch hit him with the guy who's hitting 120. Are you out of your fucking mind? The guy gets one hit in 10 at bats. Against the guy, you get 3 hits in 10 at bats. If you want to talk 3-point range, and that's why we're shooting more 3-pointers, because they're worth 3 points, even though we make like 5% of them. What the hell are you doing pinch hitting the guy? Yeah, this manager's a wizard. Oh yeah, he's got it. Pardon me. So that's what I'm looking at. Is I really don't get the managers today. They're out of their fucking minds. But I see the problem in business too. The managers are just idiots. I'm at Tenneco, and the guy goes, the CFO, he says, well, we make money and we can't spend more than we make. I've never heard a CFO at any company say that. We all know that. We all know you don't spend more than you make unless you do it on debt because you want to take advantage of the debt of the low interest rates or something. But every company has debt, and that's really a good thing, not a bad thing. So you got idiots working all over. They don't know what they're doing, and I find it more and more. Anyway, let's go. So we're taking Seattle over Toronto because Ric Flair's pitching. St. Louis and the Mets. The Mets 170-8. Miles McCollis 0-2 with a 9. He's been terrible. David Peterson 1-2 with 9. I'm taking the METS Mets. And we'll go 2 units on this. The White Sox and the Red Sox. We had they didn't play yesterday. Boston's a big minus 210, 9.5. Chicago's 4-14. Martin Perez 1-0 with the 159 against Hunter Dobbins 1-0 with the 3. Who's this Martin Perez guy? When I say that, I keep thinking of the guy from Berlin. The money he's pitched 3 games, pretty good. Shut out Minnesota, a 1 run to the Tigers. And, oh, yeah, that's when they blew the 3-1 lead with the reliever. But he shut them down. So I'm gonna go with Martin Perez. I'm going with White Sox. Well, they don't got hitting. I'm gonna go under here. White Sox. Yeah, I'm gonna take the White Sox. Every time I change my mind and go over under, I hit the game and I don't get the runs. I'm just gonna take the White Sox as a huge dog with Martin Perez. Berlin. Minnesota and Atlanta. We've got Atlanta, a huge favorite, 145-8. Chris Paddock, 0-2 with a 9.49 for Minnesota. Bryce Elder, 0-1 with the 7.20. Why is this ERA 8? All right, so I'm going to go over Atlanta, over 8, 2 units. See, when I'm looking at it and analyzing it here, you got a 9.49 pitcher and a 7.20 pitcher. I go over. How the fuck do I lose? How do they win 3-1? I mean, this is what drives you nuts about baseball. The reason is they're so inconsistent. They're a bunch of minor leaguers. You have very few. I show you this, and you don't have anybody close to this now. You have no pros playing Major League Baseball. None. There isn't a pro anywhere. So it's very inconsistent because it's all minor league shit. That's the problem with baseball. I could tell what Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Mantle, I knew what they were. Pete Rose, Mike Schmidt, you knew what they were going to do. I can't name one guy in the Tigers, and none of them are any good. So anyway, so I'm going to go Atlanta over. Again, now I'm reading it as a 9.49 or 7.20. The problem is they'll pitch 2 innings. Then it becomes the relievers. And the reliever pitches 1 inning. So it looks like it's hard to score and what should be an easy score. You give up 2-3 runs. Sorry about that. Excuse me. You give up 2-3 runs, here comes the reliever, and he shuts you out. He might have a 10 ERA, shuts you out. Then the reliever with the 1 ERA gives up 4 runs. Then the manager for the save brings out a guy with a 10 ERA, and he gives up 3 runs. You have incredibly bad management that don't know what they're doing, making these calls. They don't know. It's really pitiful what Major League Baseball has become. It's almost as bad as basketball. Just take 3-point shots because they're worth more. Yeah, but I'm going to make 10% of them. All right. Where did I go? Atlanta. All right. The Dodgers in Texas. Interesting series. The Dodgers 135-8. The game's in Texas. Mr. Fuji going for the Dodgers. Yamanato 2-1 with the 1-2-3. Jacob deGrom 0-0 with the 4-3 against Texas. It's at Texas. I don't know how easy is it to hit a home run there. Not as easy as Dodger Stadium. Good pitcher for the Dodgers. Hell, I don't know. Let's just put down under. I'm not going to play it. Under 8. San Diego, Houston. Okay. Houston's pretty weak. Altuve is it. San Diego can really hit. They're 15-4. Houston's a 145 favorite. Kyle Hart, 2-0 with the 5.40 for San Diego. Ryan Gusto, 1-1 with a 3 ERA. Houston. Hard to go over. San Diego can hit. Houston, they're at home. They got Altuve. I can't play San Diego. I got to play Houston here. San Diego's got a 540 pitcher. 2-0 with a 540. Oakland, Milwaukee. Oakland's been surprising. They've been scoring. I guess they're playing in their minor league park. I don't know what's wrong with their regular field. Milwaukee's minus 170-8. JT Ginn seems like CJ Barrett, 1-0 with a 169 for Oakland. Freddie Peralta, 1-1 with a 2-3. This is an easy one. We're going Oakland under 8. We're going to make this 2 units. That's 4. Washington and Denver, good football game. Bo Nix against Jalen Daniels. Mackenzie Gore for Washington, 1-2 with the 3.52. Chase Dollander, 1-1 with the 5.06. But the game is in Colorado. Will be a lot more points scored by Daniels in the offense. Washington 135, 8.5. Gore and that. I'm going to go over 8.5. As the game's in Colorado at a softball field. And our last game is the 49ers playing the California Angels. I'm calling the Dodgers the Rams. San Diego. I don't know what to call the Angels. So we'll just call them the Angels. The 49ers, 155-8. Logan Webb, 2-0 with the 2.63 against Tyler Anderson. 1-0. So we're going to go under. We're going to go SF under 8. So the pitfalls of this is how long do the pitchers go? Even if you get a pitcher with a 1.0 ERA, or even if you have a pitcher with a 0 ERA, the managers aren't going to let him pitch all 9 innings because he might hurt his arm. Oh my God, he might get hurt. I don't even know what we're doing here. So I think what's happening is you're paying the players too much, and then you're being very socialist by, well, it's got to be fair, and we can't get anybody hurt. Little Bobby's got to get in the game, and Joey. So we can't, we got to get all the pitchers in the game. So our big pitcher can only go. He might get tired. We got to get him a juice box after 5 innings. because we don't want him to get hurt. He might get hurt, you know. He's only a professional athlete that's getting $30 million. He can't take care of himself. And he can, you know, after 5, 6 innings tops, I mean, he's going to get he needs a nap. He's going to get tired. It's mind boggling how fucking stupid this is. Well, how do you bet it? It's not like I got Bob Gibson. He's going to go 9 innings and shut you out. Okay, I can bet the under in Bob Gibson games and win a fortune. I can't do it here, even if they are good. So, what the hell is that? Even if it is, I've got, let's see, here, Cole Reagan's 1-0 with a 2.28 for Kansas City against Detroit. I don't know how long he's going to go. Oh, you know, it's his third time through the lineup. We got to get him out of there. We got to go to our relief pitcher, who I'm sure will give up 5 runs, but it won't be his third time through the lineup. Oh my God, this is, you know, I got a 300 hitter hitting first, and then I got a bunch of 100 hitters, and then I got a 300 hitter hitting ninth. Because I don't want my second 300 hitter to bat that much. It wouldn't be fair. We got to let the 100 hitters come in and make outs. And then, oh, you know, we can have the 300 hitter batting ninth, followed by the 300 hitter hitting first. Why don't you bat them second, you idiots? So this is the big problem. You have a bunch of garbage that you don't know what is going to happen with them. Where they're going to, you know, the 180 hitter goes 3 for 4, and the 300 hitter, like St. Louis has, I think, 5 or 6 good hitters. They all go 0 for 4 because that's baseball. But then you got the 110 hitting catcher who hits 2 home runs. Very, very inconsistent because the pitching is so bad. The managing is terrible. The lineups are ridiculous. You know, what are they doing? Here's the Pittsburgh Pirates lineup, 1970. You started with Bobby Bond. No, you started with, Bobby Bond. No, he was on the 40. He was on San Francisco. Let's look at the San Francisco lineup, 1970s. We let off with Bobby Bonds, who hits 300 and is fast. You got somebody, second baseman, hitting second. You got Willie Mays hitting third, and Willie McCovey hitting fourth, and then your first base, or then another, I can't remember the other guy hitting fifth. Yeah, that's a lineup. That's how you make a lineup. You get 2 runs every time the top of the order comes up. Now they would have Bobby Bonds hitting first. They'd have Willie Mays hitting ninth and McCovey hitting seventh. And then all the 200 hitters hitting second, third, and fourth. These managers, Jesus, it's all analytics, which is bullshit. All right, before I raise my blood pressure too much. That be baseball. So the Cubs, the Pirates over 8.5, KC under 7.5, Philly over 7.5, Tampa Bay 2 units, Cincinnati under 9, Seattle, the METS, Mets 2 units, the White Sox, Atlanta over 8, 2 units, LA under 8, Houston, Oakland under 8, 2 units, Washington over 8.5, and the 49ers under 8. So the 4 bets are Tampa Bay, the New York Mets, Atlanta over 8, and Oakland under 8. There you have it. Don't bet a lot. Bet quarters and half dollars. We are not ready to really start betting this, but it's just very, very tiny. You know, I'm looking at hitting. I'm looking at the pitching. I'm looking at the bullpen, and nothing makes sense because all the players suck. I mean, they're very inconsistent. The managers are too stupid to manage. I mean, they're all analytical. Oh, it's 4th and 2. I'm supposed to go for it. Okay. I won't really manage that. I will just do what the analytics say. You should have a feel. There was a guy pitching. Oh, no. The guy against the Tigers on Sunday had a Hit a no-hitter through 4, and then he gave up a hit in the 5th. They took him out. And then the Vulcan came in, and I think they only got one. I think they got one hit the whole game. So to go against script, the guy's got to have a no-hitter going, and even then they take him out in the 7th inning because he might get hurt. I would have a very hard time playing for a manager if I was a pitcher and I got a no-hitter going in the 7th inning, and I pitched 110 pitches and he pulls me. I wouldn't play for the guy anymore. I would quit. I'd say you're too stupid to manage me. I'm fine. I could pitch 2 more innings. How hard is it to throw the ball? I mean, come on. I used to play every day in the summer when I was a kid. All right. Anything in the NFL? Anything new? Aaron Rodgers. I saw him on the Pat McAfee show, but there was no sound. The Steelers don't owe Rodgers anything. They need to draft like it. Aaron Rodgers doesn't sound ready to make a decision, focused on his personal life. Watch Rick Eisen reacts to Aaron Rodgers' latest retirement possibility talk. Aaron Rodgers can do whatever the hell he wants. I don't know why everybody's so that. He sounds stoic to me. NFL draft position ranking, Gentry. No. Yeah, there's a good running back class, terrible quarterbacks, terrible receivers. Receivers are horrible. The Browns, Andrew Berry raves about Travis Hunter's ability. What about his ability? He's a good receiver. Is he a good cornerback? Okay, he plays 2 positions. Most of the offensive linemen play more than one, but they play guard and tackle. They can play center. You don't hear anything about them. All right. Time for Mark McGwire.
Talk with Andrew McGwire.
Mark McGwire.
All right, Andrew, at the open of the first quarter of 2025, gold was priced around $26.50, and you said that gold would reach $3,000 by the end of the first quarter, and we did, in fact, hit that number. And so then in our last episode, just 2 weeks ago, you said gold was at 3,100, and again, you went on the limb, and you indicated that we would hit 3,500 by the end of the second quarter, and you did warn there would be dips, which would provide.
How is he going out on a limb? When I give you baseball, am I going out on a limb? When I give you football picks, am I going out on a limb? When I tell you gold will be 20,000, am I going out on a limb? No, I'm not. I'm just telling you what's going to happen. It's what I do. I'm not going out on any limb. But what I told you also 3,000 gold, 3,500. 4,000, 5,000. So we'll be at 5,000 sometime soon. Not going out on a limb. As Howard Cosell says, I'm telling you the way it is. The demand for gold is huge. They can't hold it because of Basel III. You've got China and Brics and Russia coming out with stable coins that'll be backed by gold. The demand is huge, and there's not a lot of supply. It's simple economics. It's not going out on a limb. Jesus Christ.
Stackers, golden opportunities, and they seem to have played out exactly as expected. Now, can you update us on what our targets are moving forward?
Yeah, Shane, great to be with you. Great to be with everyone. Thanks for collecting all the questions.
McGwire.
I know it's difficult to get to them all, but let's distill it down, because the first thing that people want to know is, well, where are we going to be? What's happening to gold? So this time, I'm going to go out on an even bigger limb, Shane, and target a physically driven gold price that not just reaffirms our 1st of January estimation of a minimum of $4,000 per ounce by the end of the year 2025. Because why? Because we see the PBOC active, and it's now bringing the bullion banks in to understand how they can quantify supply demand. I figure now that is too conservative. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at every single reason. We'll look at every reason that gold is going to 4,500. I'm talking about this year. Now, also, in this episode, not only that, we're going to have an update. I know I've had so many questions on this. We're going to have an update on really the mechanism that will convert Glasnev's, remember, the gold-backed currency, and how that is going to evolve into a tradable stable coin, allowing institutional-sized gold-backed transactions to be settled in less than 7 seconds. Think about it. Shane, let's first answer the subscriber questions where the rationale for higher prices are really 100% based on supply-demand metrics. So let's kind of step through the reasoning. So let's step through this. On the 1st of March of 2024, the PBOC opened up the Shanghai Futures Exchange, and that was gold trading, enabling gold trading to be accessed by commercial and private citizens. And as we've tracked every month since then, it was clear that this was an official strategy to drive massive gold investments into China. And from the open of the 1st of March 2024, this launch, into the end of the year, and this is the 31st of December of 2024, so into the end of the year, we evidenced gold rising by an unprecedented $760. And then we saw that initially here, and we saw a little bit, here, but then we saw a little bit of a pullback into the end of the year. And then essentially this is also, and this is why we have a note here, this is where repatriation also commenced. And that was as soon as it was known that Trump was going to take the helm. And suddenly we had the realization that there was going to be audits and one thing and another. So, we're covering several things here, but essentially we're really looking at this China investment. So the reason we're looking at it now, and despite the end of the year rinse, which we saw, it still ended up closing, physical gold still ended up closing $620 higher than the strategic Shanghai Futures Exchange launch. So the reason we're talking about it here, by no coincidence, 1 year later, and we're looking at this now, in the early stages of the second quarter of 2025, we're witnessing a similar officially sanctioned, commercially targeted gold buying mandate being sprung on the West, driven by a directive for Chinese insurance companies to invest 1% of their assets into physical gold. And as we drew attention to in our last episode, it will require an even larger percentage of available gold mine supply to be drawn down into China by the fourth quarter of 2025. And this kind of leads us to some targets. Now, these were originally, if you remember, we had all of these circled in previous episodes, 3,000, 3,100, 3,200, etc. And we've had to move the Basel III from 3,300 to 3,500. And we'll go through why in a minute, and we'll go through what all of this means. Now, this is the spot gold chart, not the futures charts. So, and again, also the spot chart here on a daily basis. Now, as we will look at shortly, the current PBOC mandate will easily match, if not surpass, a similar $800 higher price than was benchmarked at the end of the first quarter. And that was benchmarked at where the BIS, where the Fed BIS squared their BIS borrowed swaps at spot 3,100. And as we will look at, these higher price estimates are quantifiable. This latest PBOC mandate alone conservatively puts the Chinese-driven gold price at 3,900, and that is conservative. In fact, all the Western bullion banks have woken up to quantifiable supply-demand metrics that price gold around these levels or higher.
See, that's just looking at supply demand. What he's not looking at is the frenzy that I will show you in Trading Places, where everybody, they sell the orange juice at 142 and the crowd comes over to buy it. He doesn't take into account the emotion. That's what's going to happen. So we're looking at 3,900. Just what China's looking at, I'm looking at easily 5,000, because when it starts running, people notice and they're going to want to get in. And that's why I say you do not want the dollar anymore. You need the dollar, because you have to have it or you're not going to be able to buy anything. Let's go to the next section here. All right, the next one, the major banks revise gold price forecasting, whatever, 4,000, 4,500. Well, that we know. All right, let's go to the Brics section. This ought to make everybody happy.
All right, Andrew, can you expand on the rollout of the gold-backed stable coins you had mentioned previously?
Oh yeah, this is getting so interesting. I mean, it's like all these pieces are coming together, and I think perhaps tariff kind of instigated this. As the US-China trade war escalates into what really actually threatens to roll into a once-in-a-century financial war, and it's ignored by every mainstream media channel, payment chains are rapidly onshoring, providing sufficient liquidity to actually digitize Glazier's fully beta-tested Brics facing gold-backed commodity currency. And remember, the brakes were put on when sanctions came on, and there was one thing and reason another. It's simply the liquidity wasn't there, nor was the will. The mechanism wasn't there to make it work. Now, while not formally named yet, this stablecoin will be a component of the suite of Bank of Russia messaging system. It's one of their suite of one of the suite that exists in that system. And while it's not named yet, it's likely going to be called, let's for the sake of it, call it the digital ruble. And this flows off the back of a major de-dollarization move that's already underway, seemingly again ignored by the mainstream media. The PBOC announced that digital RMB has now been fully connected to 10 Asian and 6 Middle Eastern countries, facilitating 38% of global trade is able to bypass the weaponized SWIFT payments chain. Now, the first test between Hong Kong and Abu Dhabi Middle Eastern supplier was paid through the digital RMB, for example. We've seen that the funds no longer went through at 6 intermediary banks, which it would have done. Instead, they were received in real time through a distributed ledger, and the handling fee dropped by 98%. Also, settlements are 7 seconds versus SWIFT's 3 to 5 days. This lightning payment capability makes the traditional clearing system dominated by the US dollar instantly look very clumsy. Furthermore, blockchain rails make these transactions traceable and AML compliant. This technical advantage has enabled 23 central banks around the world to actively join the digital currency bridge test, enabling Middle Eastern energy traders to reduce settlement costs by 75%. And for example, European car companies can use the digital RMB to settle freight through the Arctic route, increasing trade efficiency by 400%. Led by China and Russia, this BRICS strategy makes the US dollar hegemony feel a systemic threat for the first time. And while the United States is still debating whether digital currencies threaten the status of the US dollar, 87% of nations, that is 200 countries, have already adapted the digital RMB. Cross-border payments already exceed 1.2 trillion US dollars.
That is bye-bye dollar. That is hello gold. That is hello. So you can see why we we say $5,000 gold, $10,000 gold, because to make this work, you need gold. Because nobody's going to trust the Russians or the Chinese, and nobody trusts the U.S. now anyway. So everybody joining Brics, and he mentioned like 200 countries who want to play this game. They want to trade in gold, and they got to do that on this new system that the Russians and Chinese and Brics have. All the new countries joining Brics have to deal in gold. Nobody wants their currency. It's all crap. It's all toilet paper. So you need gold. High demand, low supply. Price goes up. We see COMEX can't handle anymore. I mean, we've seen, what? In 2 weeks, we've seen gold go from 29.60 to 33. It's gone up $400. If you have 100 ounces of gold, you just made $40,000 in 2 weeks. Tell me where you've done that in Bitcoin. That'll riddle me that, Batman, about Bitcoin. Oh, some guy's sad that I talked him out of Bitcoin. Now, how are you? You feel a little bit better that if you did listen to me, you're in gold and you made a few $1,000s in gold. That's actual real money. It's just starting to go. You're going to make a lot more versus Bitcoin, which is going down, down, down. Don't fuck with me. I'm the professor for a reason. I'm not a fucking idiot. So that's what you got to understand. Gold is going up. It's limited. It's real. You can see it. You can hold it. You know what it is. As I said, you don't know what Bitcoin even looks like. You can't hold it. You have no idea what you're doing being in Bitcoin. You might as well be in Madoff. At least he paid you 15% a year on the Ponzi scheme. And so at least you got money. It worked. He got money in to pay off the other people. It worked. Nobody bitched for 30 years. So as you can see what's happening, all this gold-backed currency, the RMB is China and the ruble is Russia, and they're trading electronically gold-backed currency. That's all I ask. So if we'll have stable coins as opposed to money. So instead of having this, we'll have a coin. I assume a stable coin will actually be a real coin, which is fine with me. Or we'll have, at least we can go to the bank and say, give me 20 stable coins, or I can give them 2 ounces of gold and it'll go into my account as stable coins, which are backed by gold. Okay, fine. I have no problem with that. If it is backed by gold, then I know it's limited because you can't just print it. It's only so much gold that you have. Profit. Dab's bars have gone from 285,209 in the last week or so alone. It should be more than that. It's gone up from 29.80 to 33, so it's gone up $400 an ounce. So I would think that you're missing something there. It should be a little higher. The spread should be higher, but maybe you're not using that 29.60. But try 29.60 to 33.15, and that's roughly 400 ounces, and you got a lot of there. So, yeah, I mean, it's just beginning. Like I said yesterday, Smog's just waking up that there's gold out there. He's just sniffing, going, oh, the dwarves are digging me more gold. Thank you. That's what you have. You've got it just beginning. You've got the dollar is gone. They might not say it, but who wants it? You've got, what did you say? 200 countries are playing around with Brics. They don't want the dollar. It has no value. We're not stupid people. We understand that the gold cannot be printed and the dollar is printed to death. The Keynesians might say you can just keep printing as much as you want, but we all know that's bullshit. That's fairy talk, fantasy land. No, you can't. 29.60 is worth around 260K. No, you're missing the point. So 29.60, and now I'll go to 33.15, and that's what she made. So 260, okay, to 292. So $32,000 she made in what, 2 weeks? So yeah, that's a good reason to own gold, and it's just starting to move. I mean, believe me, people are now seeing it at 33.15 going, Hey, honey, we need to buy some gold. When it moved to 2020, they think, oh, it doesn't, it's like silver, it doesn't move. But now they're seeing gold move. They're going to, hey, why don't we get in on it? Silver's still sitting there at 32, so people are still kind of ignoring it. But when silver hits 50 and hits 100, people will go, oh, yeah, I guess we need to buy some silver now. That's what attracts people. Are idiots. They basically, when it goes up, they buy. When it goes down, they sell. Fucking idiots. Talk about people that are clueless. Yeah, 32K profit in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, not too bad. And how's the Bitcoin doing? Yeah, they went from 105 to 80. Yeah, probably didn't go up. And when I get done with it, nobody will own it. How do you buy something you can't see or touch? And the biggest question to ask the Bitcoiners, what does it look like? How is it digital gold? What part of it is gold that you can't even see what it is? It's not even real. What are you talking about? It's digital gold. Oh my God. Morons. All right, back to a little more Mark McGuire.
And while the scope of RMB settlements are limited, and everyone will say, yeah, but it's limited, they're growing. However, it's the ability to digitize Glasnev's gold-backed stablecoin on a 7-second Brics-facing settlement currency. And these volumes are about to exponentially explode. You know how much physical gold China and Russia and the Brics nations have accrued. Trump has threatened any nation that trades outside the dollar. And I remember he said, well, one phone call, I think I saw this the other day, one phone call and they'll be back on the dollar, is what he says. However, with the dollar already weaponized against China, Russia, and Iran, and given that the sudden expansion of tariffs equals sanctions, and that Brics nations control the lion's share of global commodities, the US has very little additional leverage over China and Russia's expansion of their alternate non-dollar settlements. It just needed the facility. And these are the liquid payment rails that Glasnev's beta-tested gold-backed currency required to facilitate Brics nations to trade the 85% of global commodities they produce or consume. Now, on Friday, it was no coincidence that Lavrov also promised access to alternative payment platforms for non-Brics members, referring to the financial messaging system of the Bank of Russia. So all the clues are there. It's just that it's not seen yet. The digital RMB Brics payment bridge is not only a multinodal, multipolar global payment tool, but also a technical carrier of the Belt and Road strategy and enables the build out of the digital Silk Road. This is very big news. It means de-dollarization in a big way. It will completely reset the world order.
Hey, Andrew, before we started recording today, you had mentioned some of the largest FX trading houses who don't ordinarily focus on gold are weighing in on how gold is attracting dollar outflows. Can you expand on this?
Yeah, as an example, and as was widely reported by the likes of Zero Hedge, etc., Deutsche Bank global head of FX, George Stavros, argued that despite President Trump's wavering on tariffs, the damage to the US dollar has already been done. And quote, I'll just quote him, the market is reassessing the structural attractiveness of the dollar as the world global reserve currency and is undergoing a process of rapid de-dollarization. He's not alone in saying that, not even accounting for the PBOC's push into gold. Stavros estimates gold could rise to 3,900 average 2026 price. Now, this is not out of kilter with Goldman Sachs et al. And as Deutsche Bank summed up, a new geopolitical dynamic and risk to the dollar's reserve status furnish a context which suggests that a heightened pace of gold reserve accumulation is likely to continue, translating to fourth quarter gold price of 33.50 in sync with Bank of England, Bank of America at 33.50, and Goldman Sachs at 3,500 fourth quarter. That was before these guys have updated their projections. Now, and I'm just quoting really what is not even a gold guy. This is talking about an FX guy here. However, the expectations of a wall of physical and ETF buying competing with official gold repatriation demand drove several bullion banks, including Goldman, to upgrade their spot gold targets to between 32.50 to 35.20 in 2025. However, ETF demand could conservatively evidence a run into 4,500 to follow by the first quarter of 2026. This is evolving. It's changing daily. It's upgrading daily. More immediately, unless we evidence a U-turn, the ramp up of trade sanctions against China is fast morphing into a financial war. And as was conveyed by Beijing on Friday, and I think this is what they said, given that the current tariff level, there's no market acceptance for US goods exported to China. If the US continues to impose tariffs on Chinese goods exported to the US, China will ignore it. What kind of a dislocation is going on here? So let's have a look.
Now, sometimes it helps to just look at the very short-term action. Now, really, I'm not really trying to focus on the short-term action, but we're trying to illustrate some of the footprints. And this is...
Okay, Mark, enough of that. Let's go to silver. So we're going to see $5,000 gold because the demand's there for all the Brics to trade in gold-backed stable coins. They need gold for it. They can't just do what COMEX is doing without gold or silver trying to stay in business. So we've got demand. The supply is very, very limited. The real physical supply, not the paper bullshit COMEX likes to play. So with that being said, we have huge demand for gold, low supply, price will keep going. And the way it's going, COMEX can't really stop it. How much longer COMEX is even in business is I don't know, because they're really not an inventory. They don't really have gold inventory. And everybody's settling in gold. They want their gold. They got to pay them. And they don't have the gold to pay it. So why would they keep doing derivatives? The only reason the gold price is at 33.15 is because of the derivatives. If you didn't have the price fixing for the last 50 years based on these paper derivatives keeping the price down, if you just had physical gold, it'd probably be where the mantle card is. It'd probably be 60, 70,000 an ounce. We got extremely lucky that JP Morgan's a crook and kept the price down for us. So we were able to buy over the last 4 or 5 years that I've been teaching, saying buy gold, buy gold, buy gold, buy gold. And I'm saying buy silver, buy silver, buy silver, because it's about to do the same thing. So you are lucky that you can get silver at 32, 34 an ounce. Extremely lucky. But gold, you can see now it's running and it's not going to stop. It's going to run. And, it's still feasible. Like I said, you can get a quarter ounce for $9.45, tenth of an ounce for $3.85. It's at least buying some gold. Half ounce, 18 and a quarter. We used to buy the ounces for 18 and a quarter. And, so an ounce is going to cost you 34 and a quarter at my guy's store. And so maybe you buy 1 ounce where you could have bought 2, but that's the point of it. That's the beauty of it. You're just trying to accumulate gold, and it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, nobody's going to give a shit if it's a Cougaran, Eagle, or anything. It's just an ounce of gold. That'll all come into focus. It'll all be the same because gold's not priced in dollars, and it's priced in dollars, but it's priced in every currency. But it's not, you have an Eagle that's worth more than a Maple Leaf or a Cougaran. That's just the seller selling because we're in America and everybody wants U.S. But all throughout the world, they'll take whatever, I'm sure. All right, let's look at silver from Mark McGuire.
Raise the gold price by about $1,000 per ounce.
And Andrew, this has to be the most asked question by our silver stackers out there. What are you seeing in the extremely underpriced silver markets right now?
Yeah, and underpriced is unbelievable. As we picked up again in our last episode, China is no longer able to hide the silver accumulation footprints, and liquidity providers assess they have cornered sufficient global silver supply to let it just run higher. 2 weeks ago, spot silver flipped from an 80% discount to trading at a consistent premium to the May futures contract. Now, the clues are there in just by, as a trader, you'd know, well, hang on, you mean the spot price, in other words, it's backwardated. So these synthetic futures backwardations to spot reveal the cartel's paper to physical disconnect, and it's being reeled in very large size. The cartel has aggressively gamed the COMEX-centric silver futures correlation to the falling stock market. So obviously we've seen that correlation, and we've seen it in the charts as well, and where we see silver auto sold. And that's nothing to do with margin calls, much like gold, where it had margin calls. They had no. This is a correlation. So the cartel had gamed that. However, this synthetic overshoot of an undersupplied physical market has been jumped all over by China. As a result, liquidity providers expect a physically driven rally to force the cartel, silver shorts, to move to short cover into any further related automated stock market selling.
Now, looking at silver, liquidity providers assessed that the Friday, April the 4th, last-ditch cartel attempt to protect shorts ahead of a physically driven spot silver upside breakout, and we'd seen that it was getting very, very close to breaking out, and we saw this massive counterintuitive, and we saw this as the last-ditch attempt. And the clues are all there. I mean, it's so clear that they're running. This is running too thin to continue. The clues are there, commencing with this was an 82-cent May futures contract backwardation, meaning that the spot market was trading at close to $1 higher than the May futures contract, illustrating. I mean, this low here that we witnessed here. The actual fix that followed that was actually above 30, and even then it was backwardated. And from this moment here, spot has been trading at a premium this whole way up to futures, and it's telling us silver is about to break out, and it's still commanding a 6-cent premium over the May contract. And since then, so spot silver evidence an unrelenting global spot premium. This has not faded. It's clear that Asian, primarily Chinese, physical silver buyers are steadily overcoming cartel short sellers. Now, while there's a fight at every round number, and we see it again, the reason that I haven't got this at 33, which is what it should be in the futures, is because the spot market is trading at right now at a 4-cent premium to futures. So really, as far as the myopic futures guys are concerned, this is all they see. What they don't see is a silver market that is strong, very, very strong. As these spot and futures gold markets continue to rally into all-time highs, these counterintuitive silver capping efforts are stretching an unsustainable. We've seen it at 104-1 gold-silver ratio, and we're still seeing it at 101 today. This is unsustainable. It's telegraphing that this deeply backwardated cash-settled silver contract versus deliverable spot is reaching capitulative extremes. And just as a note, while the cartel's been able to cap the spot silver fix sub 33 today, we can see very large spot buyers are active in India, China, and Saudi.
So while we expect the ebbs and the flows of tariff talk to create additional volatility in both gold and silver, these shorter-term higher pricing levels ultimately lead to the larger market weighing machine to reveal both gold and silver are underweight on this weighing machine. It's really straightforward. And I think, so really we're moving into a holiday weekend. What is usual is you usually see the cartel trying to rinse out, see it time and time again on a Friday or on a holiday. They try and find some speculators. There are always some speculators who really are just trying to gain the price. You can understand them. That's not a problem. And they're easy to rinse. But what we're saying is there's so much ETF demand coming in that it is actually offsetting, and we're talking about the synthetic market here, that is, while they are technically synthetic, these are investment managers who are not mandated to take any physical gold to look for long-term investment, and they're looking for hundreds of dollars higher prices. So a little dip here and there is only going to make them add more. So I think we can just finish up by saying, well, looking at the bigger picture into the Asia buys or the West sells chatter that we've looked at, it's clear that it is our stalwart stackers, your stalwart stackers, have been the winners against the cartel. The only question yet to be asked is how much physical gold and silver do you...
Not enough. Profit, to answer your question. Yeah, 32,000 2 weeks, not a bad return on investment. Do you think silver could potentially explode even bigger than gold down the road? Well, that's exactly what will happen. Gold will get so expensive. Let's say gold's 10,000 an ounce. How much can you really buy? I mean, we're just mere mortals. The rich guys like Warren Buffett is too stupid to buy it. If he was smart, he'd have been buying it as we've been buying it. You won't be able to find it. It's all in Brics in Russia and China, India, Saudi Arabia. They're the ones who have the Brics. So if you have millions of dollars, where you're going to go to my guy's store, he's got 5 ounces there. You're not going to be able to buy what you want to buy. So as gold hits 10,000, you're going to be going, well, maybe I should. It's hard to afford. I can get a quarter ounce for 2,500. Let me get some silver. So if we understand the concepts, let's go to concepts. This is worthless. This is garbage. This is garbage. These are both monopoly money. So what do we get? We get into the lifeboat, which is gold and silver. Everybody's into gold because the central banks are going with the gold back stable coin. And so therefore, because they're buying it, everybody's buying gold right now. And then as gold goes up, everybody gets thrown in. As you just said, the pension funds in China, insurance funds are buying gold. All the pension and all the big funds can't buy physical gold. They're buying ETF gold, but they're buying it the way we're buying it. They don't know they don't have any gold. They're all going to get screwed, but that's what they're buying is the ETFs. Well, again, there's more demand, but they're buying gold. Now, as the gold gets more expensive, they'll start buying the silver, and the silver price will run just because the money will still be there. But I can buy 1 ounce of gold, or I can buy 100 ounces of silver. So people will start jumping into silver because it's the only other lifeboat available. I have to get out of the dollar, so I'm going to buy silver. Secondly, it's affordable. It's more affordable. So I got to buy something. Gold's kind of expensive. Yeah, let me have 100 ounces of silver. Let me have 1,000 ounces of silver. You buy those big boxes, they're 500 ounces of silver. That's what Luke did. He's got 3 of the big boxes, and he'll be rewarded nicely. Luke won't be working again soon, or like I said, his kids will never work. But make sure they learn, Luke, make sure they understand skill sets and they learn their skill. That was the problem with Spain when they had all the gold in the 1500s. And then they ran out of gold, and they were a illiterate country because they all had the gold. Nobody worked or improved their character, their capital, their skill set, and therefore they failed. They're all a bunch of idiots. because they had all the gold and they spent the gold. And then when the gold was gone, they had nothing. So with me, I got a master's. When my gold's gone, I'll have my master's. That's the point. But I'm not relying on my gold, but now I am. But now I'm older. But that's kind of the point of it. So silver will run to the moon. It's as he showed you in the last charts where it just dipped on that one day. That was it. And now you can see it's immediately coming back. And they'll keep trying, but they won't be able to keep doing it. And they're going to have to pay for all these people are standing for delivery that are buying it, because it's China and India and Saudi Arabia and Russia are the ones buying the silver now. Well, you can't say no to them. They'll kill you. So you got to start paying them off, which will stop you from doing the derivative, I think, July 1st. I think by the end of the year, silver will be at least 1,000, and then gold probably hits 5,000. Let's say 4,000, but you can see how it's running. 3,100. It ran through 3,200 in a day. 2 days, it was 31. It finally broke 32, and then it broke 33. And now it's ready to break 33. It was 33.40, and then it dropped to 30. It dropped to 32.90 for like 5 minutes. And then it's back at 33.15, and China gets a hold of it Sunday night. It'll be 33.70. And the more Trump's pissing them off, the more gold they're going to buy, and the more faster they are to get out of the dollar and not worry about the tariffs. You can only tariff them in dollars. If you don't use dollars, the problem is the U.S. is not prepared. They're not going to play. Nobody's going to play with the U.S. We're going to take our ball and go home, because nobody's going to trade in dollars. You could tariff everybody as much as you want. They're all going to say, yeah, we don't want your dollar. We're going to go trade with the Russians and Chinese because we get gold. They pay us in gold for our products. And it's mostly Germany. I don't know what Italy makes. The UK doesn't make anything. France, what do they make? Champagne. In Canada, you guys make hockey sticks, hockey pucks, a little bit of lumber. What else? What else do you guys make up there? So I mean, the whole U.S. is going to have to turn into gold, or you can't play. Who are we gonna trade with? We don't want this. We know this is monopoly money. I'm sure the Russian. I know Putin does it because he said it's like a candy wrapper. They're not going to want to play with us. Oh, you're paying us in dollars? That's kid stuff. It's like Back to the Future too. When they go Back to the Future and Frodo's there with the gun in the Cafe 80s, and McFly goes and takes the gun and shoots, and and Frodo goes, oh, it's like a baby toy. You actually have to touch it and shoot it. Like he was. That's what's going to happen. Nobody's going to play with the U.S. because we don't make anything. We got Larry Fink trying to sell derivatives and Bitcoin. This is our claim to what we do. We do have some cars, but they can't compete with Germany and Japan. You've pissed everybody off. We have no gold. Way to go buying some now, unless that's what Trump's doing. But he's got to pay off the COMEX. That's why he's bringing the gold in, not because he's trying to collect it, which he should. We have no gold. We're fucked in a world of gold, right? Crude oil, natural gas, electricity, and hockey pucks. Yeah. Well, we don't need your oil or gas. We can get that from Russia. And I'm sure we have some electricity. That's Niagara Falls. And hockey pucks. Yeah, that's about it. Maybe hockey sticks. But that's it. What are you going to do with nobody's going to play with you? China's got all the minerals. Russia's got all the oil and the gas, and Saudi Arabia. India's got cheap labor. Vietnam's going to make a lot of the stuff as all the Chinese countries move there. China's being forced to do it because they're broke in Chinese in yuan, not in gold. So they're going to pull out their gold and say, just like we're doing, this is worthless. But I do have gold and silver, And that can never be worthless because it's limited and highly demanded, which is the perfect thing that you want. Most of our crude oil is going to China now instead of the US. So are you going to join BRICS? You probably should. You'd be better off joining BRICS. I wonder if, I think France or Italy wants to join BRICS. So I got a feeling that Germany will be joining BRICS too. It just makes sense to get into the gold and out of the currency and out of the George Soros thing. Let him run his own little country, the George Soros country. He'll be like on a train going in circles. Nobody wants to play with the US because they're out of their fucking minds. They're bullies. You got Trump doing this and that. They're keeping this war with Ukraine and Russia going on, which is pissing off me and Daria. It just makes no sense what you're doing. You can't keep doing this. And it's always about money. This is World War III, right? What you have right now with this gold back, what do I call it? Staple coin. Okay. What China's rolling out, what Russia's rolling out, that's World War III. That's the war, but it's not military. The war is financial. The war is gold, and gold always wins every war. That's why the Romans lost. They had the gold, then they deflated all their money. They pulled the gold and silver out of their money, and here comes Turkey. And the Ottomans took over. And every global power after that was the one that had gold. The Netherlands, Spain, France, England, and then the US. How did they do it? They had gold. They had free trade. That's how they became number one. And now who has it? Now it's all BRICS. It's not just China. They won't be the ones. There'll be China, Russia, India. It'll be every BRICS country will be number one. And they know it. And the only one who doesn't is the US, because we got a bunch of idiots running the country because it is not based on how smart you are. It is based on how popular you are and who you know. And if George Soros likes you and you're going to listen to him, then he'll get you elected. It's a terrible system. It's a corrupt system, and we're all fucked here. And the only way out, as I say, you need gold. You don't want gold. You might want Hank Aaron. I want him. It's a want. I need gold. Or in your case, Prophet, I want Mario Lemieux's rookie card. I couldn't even find a PSA 10. I went on eBay to see how much it's worth, and I see a bunch of 9s going for 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. But a 10 probably is over 100. It's funny how the difference goes from a 9 to a 10. The Montana rookie's 100,000, but a 9 is not 50, 60,000. It's about, 5 or 6,000 is all. So it's a big get me the 10. It's a big difference if you get the 10. But again, they want it because it's limited. They want it because there's demand. So it's the same thing as gold. It's limited, high demand. Super Bowl tickets, limited, high demand. Anything that's limited and high demand. This is your thesis. It must be limited and it must be highly demanded, and the price will go to the moon. So all you have to do is find limited, highly demanded. That's where we go Mickey Mantle, and we go Wayne Gretzky and Bobby Orr, and we go Joe Montana, and we go Tom Brady, and now we're going Mahomes. All you got to do is just find the limited. You've got the demand, and then the price goes to the moon. That's all it takes. And we'll get you there because that's what I master in. So that's what you're looking for. So yeah, China's a country that doesn't have anything. So most of their oil comes from either Saudi Arabia. They made deals with Saudi Arabia. They made deals with Russia, and I guess with Canada. I don't know who the U.S. is going to sell to because nobody's going to, we're not going to be able to buy anything because nobody's going to want our dollar. They're going to say you got to trade in the gold-backed currency with the stable coin. I think Trump mentioned stable coin. Yeah, because everybody's playing stable coin, he has to come out with gold-backed stable coin in order to join Brics and get the trading, because they're not going to want your dollars. So you can tariff all you want. Nobody's going to play the game. Nobody cares if they sell it to you because they don't want dollars. Until you have stable coin, they're not going to want. No, I want gold. Right? So like when I go to work, pay me in gold. I don't want to get paid in dollars. So I take my paycheck and I Rumpelstiltskin over to the gold store and I turn it into gold. That's it. So anyway, Mark's saying 4,500. His title is $4,500 gold price. I think he's very conservative there. I mean, it's already run, as Prophet saying, from 29.60 to 33.15. That's almost $400, $32,000 profit in 2 weeks. Well, as everybody sees that, it's just going to keep going. You've got insurance companies, pensions going into ETFs, buying it, more physical gold, although they can't buy physical in ETFs, but I think the ETF has to buy the physical because these people are going to want their physical. You're not going to play games with them going, oh, well, it's just, we'll give you an IOU. No. We want the physical. I hope they're not that stupid. So everybody wants physical. Do not. I see the stocks are starting to move, but be careful. When the stock market crashes, they're probably going to crash too. I wouldn't want to be. I'd rather be in physical. Thank you very much. Because even if you're in a gold stock, you're still in dollars. You're not in gold. You want to be in gold. You must get into physical. You cannot stay in paper. Stocks are paper. Banks are paper. Your dollar's paper, right? All that is paper. The annuities, the life insurance stuff, it's all paper. I would advise to get out of life insurance. Just buy gold. That's the life insurance. Because if you're in life insurance, you're in paper. And when the paper goes to zero, your life insurance is worthless. Retirement accounts, all you got to do is buy gold. You do not need life insurance, or your retirement cannot be stocks. The stocks will not have a value. So when these idiots are saying, well, just go into stocks and get into a dividend stock and that's how you'll live. Shit, I can just buy ounces of gold, and now, if I wait 2 weeks, I'll make 45,000 in gold that I can't lose on because it's going to keep going because the demand is huge. What will the government do? I don't know. Egon's saying, well, you want to take part of your money out. I'll show you an Egon one. I was on Twitter purposely looking for Egon. And the problem is, let's see. All right. So here's Egon on Twitter. Investors in cash or securities will experience the biggest wealth destruction in history. It's essential to take the following precautions. Well, that's what I just told you, but we'll read it for fun. 1, don't hold stocks except for resource stocks, which are minerals, mining, gold, silver. Remember that stocks held within the financial system are vulnerable to system failure. As the dollar goes out, the system fails. So what he's saying is, this is what I said, when you're on the Titanic, you got to get out of paper and into physical gold and silver. Those are the lifeboats, because if you're still in paper, you're still going to sink. All right. Number 2, don't touch any bonds with a barge pool, including government bonds. Governments can never pay the capital or interest with regular money, only with massive depreciated fiat money. That's why people are getting out of the U.S. T-bills, China and Japan, because they realize they can't get paid back. We don't have 37 trillion to pay them, and if we print more money, it's worthless. So China's getting out of it, buying gold. Japan's doing the same thing, and anybody else stupid enough to buy U.S. T-bills are getting out of it. Number 3, don't hold bigger amounts of dollars, euros, yen, or any currency in a bank. Cash deposits are at risk. In addition, the currencies will all fall rapidly. The Swiss franc might be slightly better, at least early on, until that collapses. Only hold personal property, not investment property. Get out of debt if you can. This guy's an idiot. I wouldn't waste my time with Matthew Puffenbarger. So I got that on Twitter following Egon. It's basically the same thing we always talk about. But you've got to get out of paper, and because okay, let's go to this example. Let's say this is a PSA 10. It's worth $100,000. Okay, this is worthless. This goes to zero. This becomes worthless, priced in dollars. But if you have gold and if you demand this card with dollars or with gold, you still demand the card. I want Lemieux's rookie card. So you're still going to want Lemieux's rookie card. So what you do is the dollar's worthless. So, this has no value in dollars. But I got gold and I still want the card because I demand the card because it's a market. It's still a market. It's the market in gold now. What is it in gold? And that's where we'll come up with a new price. We don't know what that price is. It might be a tenth of an ounce of gold, but gold at that point would be $100,000. So maybe it'd be an ounce of gold. That's what'll happen to your assets. But because this is a real asset, because there's a market for it, there's demand for Mario Lemieux, this will hold value. There's demand for Hank Aaron. There's demand for the Yzerman 1 card. There's demand for this card because there's only one of them, right? So there's demand for this. So it just switches to priced in dollars to priced in gold. So you've got to hold real assets, and you've got to be careful getting out of holding anything in dollars, stocks, bonds, money in the bank, life insurance. Get the hell out of all that because that is all going to zero. The U.S. dollar is collapsing for 2 reasons. One, you printed the shit out of it, 150, 60 trillion, because you wanted to have the petrodollar and this whole FX bullshit where everybody trades in it. It's good until it's not. Well, we see 90% of the world going into Brics, going into this stable coin, gold-backed stable coin. So you have that, which means they're not using the dollar unless it's something they can only get from the U.S., but we don't sell anything. So there's nothing we sell here that they need except for what? Technology, Microsoft? No, that comes from China. Oh, yeah. Well, we have Facebook, whatever Zuckerberg sells. That's not really a product. He's just selling your information. This is what we become. Warren Buffett, he sells insurance. Bill Gates sells Microsoft, but that's made in China. We don't really sell anything. Our billionaires are because the stock value is up because we're printing money, putting it into the stocks. They don't make anything. Facebook doesn't make anything. Twitter doesn't make anything. Tesla, nobody wants. Nobody's producing anything, and nobody will. And nobody wants dollars. They want gold. So off goes the U.S. It's completely sunk. Without demand, it has no value. If nobody wants this card, it's worth zero. You try to sweeten the pot saying, yeah, but they only made one of it. Oh, where do I get in line? Because there's only one, there's demand. If I just pulled the regular card out of the set, the regular black label, they made a million of them, it'd be worth $2. But because this is one, that's where it gets its value in. So this has value because it's 1968 and it's Hank Aaron and he just died. This is where this card becomes very valuable. Let me see the corners. I think the corners look pretty good. This could be in better shape than the Willie Mays card I just showed you. So because you like the player, there's demand for it. I can't see any baseball card being sold now. There's nothing here. There's no player that you'd want to collect and pay for. Football, you got Mahomes, you got Joe Burrow. Now you got Jalen Daniels. Penix will start getting a value. That's about it. Maybe Barkley, maybe Kansas City. I don't want Kelsey. Like I said, Mahomes, that's about it. Defense doesn't have value usually. Even Lawrence Taylor doesn't have that kind of value that he should because he's a linebacker versus a Tom Brady. What else? So that's what you got to know. You have to understand the why. So when you ask those questions, it's, well, think about it. Is there demand? Tell me about the supply. Well, we know gold and silver are very limited. It works if there is huge demand. There is huge demand, but the huge demand is not because they like gold and silver as much as they have to get out of this. And therefore, the only thing you can get into, it's a monopoly, is gold and silver. So gold's running now. Silver will run. It's trying to run, but they're getting killed on their derivatives. The bullion banks, that's why they're not letting it go. They're fighting it tooth and nail, but I think it's just about ready to blow. And when it blows, once you see I don't know if you'll see it in the 40s. It'll just go 35. It might go 38, and then it's going to be 50, and then it's going to be 100. And then Katie bar the door. So you got to just anticipate what's going to happen. It's like a football game. We anticipate Mahomes is going to win most of the game, so we bet them. And during the game, they're losing, but we anticipate they're going to win. That's why we bet it in the beginning. We bet Kansas City to win because they got Mahomes. So even though in the first and second quarter they're losing, they do come on and win. And that's sort of what's happening with silver. We know it's going to go. We know it's 1,000 an ounce. We just they're fighting it because they're broke once it goes. The bullion banks, HSBC, Deutsche Bank, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and Chase, Citibank all go out to zero because they got all these derivatives because they're a bunch of idiots shorting something that there's huge demand in. Well, what kind of idiot does that? Should I short the stock? I don't know. How's the demand? Oh, it's huge. Well, the stock's gonna go up. Why would I short it? Anyway, so that's really what's going on. Gold's closed. Looks like the stocks market's closed because of Easter. Sunday night, we'll be back looking at China, seeing if we get to 3,400. The way it's going, by the second quarter, we're just started it, Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June. So I would think by the end of June, we could be at 5,000. More than likely, it'll be less pullback because they have to settle with gold they can't afford. And so they're going to Bitcoin as safe haven because that's not real. And they'll go more into gold and they'll get out of gold and silver. Like they're already getting out of gold. Silver, they're running because they know they're fucked and they got a little bit left. And then I don't even know where they're getting the money from. They're just printing it and it's worthless. So they're trying to keep the price down. But at this point, no, China wants it and Russia wants it higher because they got it. They got tons and tons. They got, when you got 100,000 tons of silver, that it's time to, okay, let's let the price go, especially when both countries are bankrupt in their own currency. So keep an eye on that. That should really let it go. And that's what's coming. And we know that's what's coming. So we just wait and off we go. And so, yeah, anything very limited. And then don't worry about, if this goes to a low price, it's priced in dollars. It will get priced in gold. So all these cards, your house, your car, my car will go to zero, my Camry, till it gets priced in gold. I'll go to the Toyota dealership. All his cars will be zero and then priced in stable coin or gold back. I'm going to get my oil change soon. I think I'm due. So I got to go and get it and then see what to have a talk to the guys about what's your new pricing going to be. Stable coin, gold, silver. How much gold do you need for that Camry? An ounce, 2 ounce? But that's where we're headed. And the housing market's getting crushed. China's getting crushed. All these countries are going broke. All these countries are in monopoly money that's worthless. So just keep that in mind. Very, very dangerous game to play if you're playing anything with this. Get out of life insurance, just buy gold. Get out of retirement stocks, just buy gold. You should be out of all stocks. So your retirement, I would not listen to these morons. Oh, buy stock and 60% bonds, and it's all worthless. Your only hope if you want to retire is do exactly what I'm doing, which is buy a bunch of gold and silver. And look how the gold's going up. As Prophet's saying, 32,000 in 2 weeks. Mine's more like 45,000 in 2 or 3 weeks. I think since January 15th, I think I had a price of $26.90. So, I did the math and it was like 45,000 since January in 2 months. Yeah, but gold's not a good thing to hold. So it's going to keep going up because of the inflation of printing the money, and the money's worthless, and everybody buying, and the whole world buying gold and silver, not just the U.S. And off you go. It's just keep it going. That's how you retire. It's the only way you can retire. You cannot retire with dollars or Microsoft or Nvidia or any of these Tesla stocks. They're all going down. All of them are going downtown because nobody's going to do business with anybody in the U.S. because we don't have gold. And why would I deal with somebody who doesn't have gold? Not going to happen. And the way China can make things, and Vietnam and India, that's where you're manufacturing. They got all the minerals. They got all the oil. They got a lot of gold. They're set. What do they need the U.S. for? Oh yeah, we need it for Facebook. Yeah, we need Zuckerberg to sell us the information on the people. I don't need that. I got gold. I don't need all that shit. So again, this is where we become. We don't make anything. The cars we make are pieces of shit, and then we get Tesla, which is electric, which nobody wants. We don't really sell anything. Oil, gas, it's all been blocked by Biden. We're totally fucked here. So that's why I'm keeping my eyes open where to move, but I just keep watching the gold go. And Egon does say take half to a different country, but my concern is getting to the different country. Now, I'm sure he's talking about people with, you own 5 tons of gold. You own 10,000 ounces. Okay, that's probably who he's talking about. If you have like 100 ounces of gold or something, just keep it in your safe and don't tell anybody. That's really it. And then I would hammer the silver right now, because silver is going to do what gold's doing as soon as it breaks, and it's going to break. And then you're going to see $1,000 silver, and you're going to go, yeah, that's a pretty good idea buying it at 32. Anyway, I'm waiting for Luke and Bobby to meet them at Capitol Grill. Anybody else wants to join, we'll have to plan a city and a time, but that's for $3,000 gold. Now we're at 3,300. We'll have to do a second one at $3,500 gold, which would be next week probably. So we got Luke's on working in France, so I got to wait for him to come back. Bobby, I don't know where he's gone. Bobby, where are you? And we got to go to Capitol Grill. And anybody else? So that's where we're headed to. We're headed to $5,000 gold. 3,300 will be 3,500. I think by the end of the month, and then I think by July we'll be close to 5,000, and it'll just keep going because you have to have it. There's no substitute. We have a monopoly. We are in on a monopoly, and it's in our favor, and it's unbelievable. But this is worthless. You cannot just keep printing it to death. Jim Rickards and all these morons that say this are idiots. They don't know what they're talking about. They're Keynesians. And this is where it pays off being an Austrian. We know exactly what's going on. The Keynesians live in some fantasy world that says, I can eat 100 pieces of chocolate cake and not gain a pound. And you're like, what, are you out of your mind? Profit 32K profit in 2 weeks, but she has 17 bars. So it's, well, that's what I thought. So I didn't understand what you were saying. So it's 544 profit in 2 weeks. Yeah, that's not bad. How many bars are you going to get out of it? You're going to get 1 or 2 bars? And then are you going to stay married to her, or is it just a marriage of convenience? Then you can get all the hot Vegas girls. So we will see. But that's the point of it. That's why I don't tell you to buy 1 ounce of gold. Buy as much as you can. Like I said, if you can get 100, every time it goes up $100, you make 10 grand. And the way it's going, you're going to do that. You're going to get a couple $100,000 a month, or a couple 20, 30 grand a month. And by the way, there's no tax because it's not interest or dividends. So it's even better. And you don't sell it unless you absolutely have to. It's kind of weird because you make all this money, but you don't recognize it. So it's not like I got 20 grand in my bank from making the money on gold. I still have the ounces of gold, but now it's worth more. So it's really weird because you're like, oh, I just made 10 grand. And then you're like, well, yeah, but I don't really see it. I have to go sell it to get it, but that's okay. I know where to go, and I know what it's worth. All right. Anything else? Hopefully half of them at least. Well, that would be nice. And the way it's going, keep adding zeros to it. 32,000 profit in 2 weeks, 17 bars. Well, the bar is going to be $50,000 a bar or more. What is it? It's I don't know if it's per bar. You got 285,000 per bar. So I don't know what your numerator is, but that'll probably go to 2 or 3 million a bar. Right? That's where it's headed. Because this is nothing, 3,300. Wait till it's a 50,000. And then times it by that per bar. 88 ounces. So take 88 ounces and times it by, let's just say 10,000. That's $8 million a bar. And that's very conservative. So yeah, you're looking for a nice beach to retire and make your 20%. You'll make more than 20%, but it'll keep going because there's no substitute. There's no other place to put the money in but gold and silver for the whole world. Germany, China, Russia, France, Italy, Spain. There is no other answer. They cannot stay in the euro. They're all going to jump, and you're going to have trading places in your in the gold because there's no other option. There's nothing else you can go. Even if they created new money, stable coins by the Brics will be gold back. There's nothing else you can do. So all this demand that isn't even started yet will go into gold and silver. So you might also want to buy a couple of these big silver bars because they'll just shoot up 5,000-6,000 times. I mean, they're $32. They'll be at least 32. It'll be at least 3,000. Let's say they'll be at least $10,000 a bar or an ounce. All right, let's say $3,000 an ounce at least. And you're buying them at 32. You just made 1,000 times. Food for thought. So do you want to make money? That's how you're going to make money. Stocks is not I cringe when people say, how about this stock here? Or how about buy a house? Why do you look for the hard way out. The easy way out is just keep buying gold and silver. Is that boring for you to make $30,000 in 3 weeks? Is that boring? These idiots are buying Bitcoin that they don't even know what it looks like and can't touch it. And that's how stupid these people are. They're falling into the trap. They're all going broke. And here comes gold. Just the tortoise just kind of keep going, and we keep going. And when we pass Bitcoin, then we'll see who has the last laugh. All right, I've got to go. That's 2 hours. Good. So you do not want gold. You need gold. You must have gold. Baseball picks. The picks I gave are Tampa, 2 units, the Mets, 2 units, Atlanta over 8, 2 units, Oakland under 8, 2 units. Be very, very careful. Do not bet a lot on these. Right now, it's the normal trend analysis I do doesn't work. The ERAs are not working. The batting average is guys with the 100 batting average. It's getting 3 hits, and the guy with 300 is going 0 for 4. The pitchers with a 1 ERA are giving up 6 runs, and the 6 ERA pitchers are giving up 1 run. Good luck. I mean, I don't know how else to do it. I mean, that's the way you do. It's how I do football. It works perfectly. You can't really look at defense as you ask profit because who knows what the defense is doing. Very difficult. All right, time to go. Have a great day. Happy Easter. If you celebrate Easter Good Friday, I don't know. Easter Sunday, I don't know what I'm doing. Probably nothing. I'm sure I'll do a class. I always have time for class. I always enjoy it anyway. But we'll see. So the gold and silver markets are closed. I think the stock market's probably closed. Only Bitcoin is open with the invisible money of Bitcoin. Just hilarious. All right. I will talk to you soon. Have a nice day. www.teaserking.com. You want my email, get it there, and I will respond as profit knows. All right. Have a good day, everybody. Take care.